The great hall of the Galaxy Council stretched wide like a massive bowl. Thousands of alien beings filled the seats that curved around the center stage. Some had scales that shimmered in the light. Others had fur or skin that changed colors. A few looked like living crystals or moving gas clouds. Ambassador Min-Jun Park sat alone in the small section marked for Earth. His dark suit looked plain next to the bright robes and strange clothing of the other species. He kept his hands folded and his face calm. His aide, Captain Kim, stood behind him with a small tablet. High Counselor Threx rose from the center podium. The ancient crystal being's voice rang clear through the hall. "We gather today to decide the fate of the human species. They have shown they cannot be trusted to share our galaxy in peace." Murmurs filled the hall. Many aliens nodded their heads or made sounds of agreement. Park did not move. Chancellor Vexthar of the Zephyrian Empire stood up. His tall, blue-skinned form commanded attention. "Honored Council, humans have broken every rule we hold dear. In just 200 years, they have spread to over 3,000 worlds. They take our trade routes, they copy our technology, they refuse to follow our ancient laws." A delegate from the Mineral Lords spoke next. "Humans change too fast. Yesterday they used simple rockets. Today they travel faster than light. Tomorrow who knows what dangerous things they will build." "They are unpredictable," added the representative from the Hive Collective. "Our models cannot predict what they will do. This makes them dangerous to galactic peace." More voices joined in. Each species listed their complaints against humanity. They spoke of human colonies appearing where none should exist. They talked about human traders offering better deals than established businesses. They worried about human art and music spreading to their young people. Park listened to it all. His expression never changed. Sometimes he would lean over to whisper something to Captain Kim, but mostly he just sat quietly. Chancellor Vexthar spoke again. "The evidence is clear. Humans cannot be controlled through normal means. They ignore our warnings. They break our trade agreements. They even dare to ask for a permanent seat on this council." Angry sounds came from many delegates. The idea of humans having equal say in galactic affairs clearly upset them. "There is only one solution," Vexthar continued. "We must act before they become too strong. We must declare war on Earth and all human colonies. We must end this threat while we still can." High Counselor Threx called for order as the hall erupted in discussion. Some aliens seemed excited by the idea of war. Others looked worried. A few glanced at Park, wondering why he remained so calm. "The motion has been made," Threx announced. "All in favor of declaring war on the human species, make your choice known." The voting system came alive. Each species had one vote, no matter how big or small. Lights began appearing on the great board above the hall. Red meant yes for war. Blue meant no. Yellow meant neutral. The votes came in quickly. Red light after red light appeared. The Zephyrian Empire voted yes. The Mineral Lords voted yes. The Hive Collective voted yes. Even some of the smaller species voted for war. Only a handful of blue lights appeared. The peaceful gardener species voted no. 2 small trading partnerships voted no. Most others either voted yes or stayed neutral. Park watched the board fill with red lights. When the final count appeared, the result was clear. 47 species voted for war. Only 5 voted against. The rest stayed neutral. "The motion passes," High Counselor Threx declared. "By the power of this council, we hereby declare war on Earth and all human settlements. May the galaxy find peace through this action." Cheers erupted from many delegates. They seemed happy that the human problem would soon be solved. Some were already talking about which human worlds they wanted to claim after the war. Through all of this, Park remained seated. He did not look angry or scared. Instead, a small smile appeared on his face. Captain Kim leaned down to whisper, "Sir, should I send the message?" Park nodded slowly. "Yes, send it now. Use code 7. Kim pressed something on his tablet. Somewhere in space, a signal began traveling toward Earth at faster than light speed. Chancellor Vexthar noticed Park's calm behavior. Human, do you have nothing to say? Your species has just been condemned to war. Why do you not beg for mercy or try to change our minds? Park stood up slowly. Every eye in the hall turned to watch him. He adjusted his tie and looked around at all the alien faces staring at him. Honored delegates, Park said in a clear, steady voice, you have made your choice. Earth will respond as we see fit. That is all? Vexthar asked, sounding almost disappointed. No desperate pleas? No threats? No fear? Park's smile grew a little wider. He looked directly at the Chancellor, then at High Counselor Threx, and finally at all the delegates who had voted for war. No threats, Chancellor, Park said calmly. But I will say this. We have been preparing for this day for a very long time. You have just given us exactly what we needed. He paused, letting his words sink in. The hall had grown very quiet. You see, we always knew this moment would come. We have been waiting patiently for you to make the first move. Now you have made your choice, and we can finally make ours. Park turned to leave, but then stopped and looked back one more time. Thank you, honored council. It is finally time. With that, Ambassador Min-jun Park walked out of the Galaxy Council chambers. Captain Kim followed close behind, still sending messages on his tablet. The alien delegates sat in confused silence. They had expected begging or anger or fear. Instead, the human had seemed almost happy about their declaration of war. High Counselor Threx felt the first small doubt creep into his ancient mind. Why had the human been so calm? What did he mean by finally time? But it was too late to change anything now. The war had been declared. Soon, the galaxy would learn what humans were really capable of when they stopped playing by everyone else's rules. 3 years earlier, Min-jun Park had walked into a secret room deep beneath Seoul. The man waiting for him looked ordinary, like any other government worker. But Park knew better. Director Lee ran the most classified program in human history. Sit down, Ambassador, Director Lee had said. What I am about to tell you will change everything you know about Earth's plans. Park had listened as Lee explained Project Chessboard. While other species saw humans as new players in galactic politics, Earth had been preparing for war since the day they learned about the Galaxy Council. We knew they would never accept us as equals, Lee had explained. Every alien species talks about peace, but they mean peace under their control. They want us to stay small and weak forever. Now, 3 years later, Park's message raced toward Earth at incredible speed. The simple code 7 would trigger plans that had been decades in the making. Admiral Sarah Chen received the signal in her command center on Luna Base. She had been waiting for this moment her entire career. Around her, dozens of officers worked at computer stations, monitoring human forces across the galaxy. Signal confirmed, reported Colonel Martinez. Code 7 received from Ambassador Park. Admiral Chen stood up and walked to the center of the room. Attention all stations. This is Admiral Chen. Authorization Chen Alpha 77. Execute Operation Awakening. I repeat, execute Operation Awakening. Across human space, the message spread like lightning. On New Shanghai Colony, Governor Kim immediately activated the hidden defense systems that aliens thought were simple weather stations. On Terra Nova, the mining equipment suddenly transformed into weapons factories. On dozens of other worlds, humans began revealing capabilities they had kept secret for years. Captain Elena Rodriguez was commanding a patrol ship near the border of Zephyrian space when the order came. Her ship, the Harmony, looked like a simple merchant vessel. The aliens who scanned it saw cargo holds and peaceful trading equipment. They could not see the weapons hidden behind false walls or the advanced engines disguised as simple drives. The Harmony was not a merchant ship. It was a warship designed to look harmless. "All hands, this is the captain," Rodriguez announced. "We just received activation orders. Drop the disguise and prepare for combat operations." Her crew moved quickly. They had trained for this moment for 3 years. Panels slid away to reveal weapon systems. The ship's true engines came online, giving them speed that would shock any alien who saw it. Dr. James Mitchell worked in a laboratory that officially studied alien plant samples. In reality, he and his team had been analyzing every piece of alien technology they could get their hands on. They knew the weapon systems of every major species. They understood alien computer networks better than the aliens themselves. "Begin Phase 2, Dr. Mitchell told his team. "Release the network programs." Across the galaxy, human traders and diplomats had been quietly placing small devices in alien computer systems. The aliens thought these were simple translation programs or cultural exchange files. They were actually sophisticated programs designed to give humans access to alien networks when needed. Now those programs activated all at once. On Zephyrian military bases, computer systems began showing false information. Hive collective communications started having mysterious delays. Crystal Empire financial networks began making tiny errors that would grow into big problems. The aliens did not notice yet. The programs were designed to work slowly and carefully, but humans now had access to almost every major alien computer system in the galaxy. On Earth, President Wong called an emergency meeting of the Security Council, the room filled with military leaders, scientists, and intelligence officers. They had all been preparing for this day. "The Galaxy Council has declared war," President Wong announced. "After 50 years of preparation, we can finally defend ourselves properly." General Thompson activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy. Red dots marked alien military bases. Blue dots showed human colonies and fleets. Yellow dots showed neutral species who might be convinced to help Earth. "Phase 1 is already underway," General Thompson reported. "Our sleeper agents are activating across alien space. Our hidden fleets are moving into position. Economic warfare protocols are now active." The economic attack was perhaps the most powerful weapon humans had developed. For decades, human traders had made themselves essential to alien economies. They provided rare minerals, advanced manufacturing, and services that aliens had learned to depend on. Now all of that stopped at once. Human traders began leaving alien space. Human factories stopped producing goods for alien customers. Human banks froze assets and called in loans. On the Crystal Empire homeworld, the effects began within hours. The crystal beings depended on human-made quantum processors for their communication networks. Without new supplies, their systems began failing. Similar problems appeared on dozens of other worlds. Back on Luna Base, Admiral Chen watched reports come in from across the galaxy. Her hidden fleets were moving into position. Her intelligence networks were providing perfect information about alien military movements. Her economic weapons were already causing chaos on alien worlds. "Admiral," reported Commander Park, no relation to the ambassador, "we have confirmed positions on 47 alien military bases. Our agents report they are beginning mobilization for what they expect to be an easy war." Admiral Chen smiled. "Let them think this will be easy. The longer they believe we are weak, the more advantages we gain." She turned to address her command staff. "Remember, we are not trying to conquer anyone. We want respect, not domination. Our goal is to show them that humans cannot be bullied or controlled. When they understand this, we can have real peace." On New Geneva Colony, Ambassador Park's former assistant was meeting with representatives from neutral species. These aliens had not voted for war, but they had not supported humans either. "The war has begun," she told them quietly, "but it is not too late to choose the winning side. Humans remember their friends, and we never forget our enemies. Some of these neutral species had been watching humans carefully. They had noticed things that the larger empires missed. They saw how humans adapted and learned. They saw how human colonies prospered while staying peaceful. They saw how humans kept their word in trade agreements. A few of these species began sending quiet messages to human representatives. They wanted to know what humans would offer in exchange for support. As the first day of war ended, aliens across the galaxy went to sleep thinking they had solved the human problem. They expected their fleets to easily crush human resistance. They planned to divide human colonies among themselves like prizes. They did not know that humans had spent 50 years preparing for this war. They did not know about the hidden weapons, the secret alliances, or the computer programs now spreading through their networks. They definitely did not know that humans had been waiting patiently for this moment, when they could finally stop pretending to be weak and show the galaxy what they were really capable of. The galaxy was about to learn that underestimating humans was a very dangerous mistake. Chancellor Vexthar stood in the command center of his flagship, the Eternal Glory. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of his massive fleet. 500 ships of the Zephyrian Empire moved through space toward human colonies. "How long until we reach the first human world?" he asked his fleet commander. 6 hours, Chancellor," replied Admiral Kethvar. "Our scouts report minimal defenses. This will be easier than we thought." Vexthar smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "Good. We will crush them quickly and move on to the next target. The humans will learn what happens when they challenge their betters." What the Zephyrians did not know was that human sensors had been tracking their fleet for 3 days. Captain Rodriguez and her disguised warship Harmony waited in an asteroid field near their target destination. "Enemy fleet approaching," reported her tactical officer. 500 ships, just like intelligence predicted." Rodriguez studied the alien formation. They flew in a tight group, exactly the way their military doctrine required. It was impressive and organized, but it was also predictable. "Signal the fleet," Rodriguez ordered. "All units, execute Plan Delta 7. Around the asteroid field, 30 other ships that looked like mining vessels or cargo haulers suddenly came to life. Hidden weapons emerged from cargo bays. Engines that had seemed old and slow revealed their true power. The Zephyrian fleet approached the human colony world of Haven's Rest. They expected to find a few scared humans with basic defenses. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by ships that appeared from nowhere. "What is this?" Admiral Kethvar shouted. "Those are supposed to be civilian vessels." The human attack came from all directions at once. Ships that looked harmless revealed advanced weapons. Asteroids that seemed natural turned out to be disguised weapon platforms. The space around Haven's Rest turned into a trap. Captain Rodriguez led the attack personally. Her ship danced between alien vessels, firing precisely targeted shots that disabled their engines and weapons without destroying them completely. "Target their command ships first," she ordered. "We want to capture their officers, not kill them." The battle lasted only 20 minutes. When it was over, the mighty Zephyrian fleet was broken. Half their ships were disabled. A quarter were captured. The rest fled in confusion. Chancellor Vexthar found himself a prisoner on Rodriguez's ship. He stared at her in shock as she removed her helmet, revealing a young human woman with short black hair. "This is impossible," he said. "You are just primitive newcomers. How do you have such advanced weapons?" Rodriguez smiled politely. "We have been preparing for this war longer than you realize, Chancellor. Would you like some coffee while we discuss your surrender?" Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. Alien fleets that expected easy victories found themselves outgunned and outmaneuvered by humans who seemed to know their every move. Dr. Mitchell's computer programs were working perfectly. On the Crystal Empire homeworld, their military networks showed false information about human fleet positions. Orders to their commanders were delayed or changed. Their supply ships went to wrong locations. The crystal beings discovered the problem when Admiral Shendar tried to order his fleet to attack Earth directly. His ships received the command, but their navigation computers guided them to an empty system instead. "This cannot be happening," Admiral Shendar said as he realized they were lost. "Our computers are the most advanced in the galaxy." His technical officer checked the systems carefully. "Sir, I am detecting foreign programs throughout our network. They appear to have been here for months, maybe years." Admiral Shendar felt cold fear creep into his crystalline form. "You mean the humans have been inside our computers this entire time?" The economic warfare was proving even more devastating than the military attacks. On dozens of alien worlds, essential services began failing as human-made components broke down without replacements. The Hive Collective's queen received desperate reports from across her territory. "My queen, our manufacturing centers are shutting down. We cannot get the rare earth elements that humans use to provide." "Then use our own resources," the queen replied. "We tried, my queen, but our mining equipment uses human-designed processors. Without maintenance from human technicians, the machines are failing." Similar problems spread throughout alien space. Species that had grown dependent on human trade found themselves unable to function without it. Food shipments stopped. Medical supplies ran out. Even basic communication systems failed as human-made components broke down. On Earth, President Wong met with neutral species representatives who had requested an emergency meeting. "Your people are causing chaos across the galaxy," said the ambassador from the Merchant Guild. "Our trade routes are disrupted. Our economies are suffering." President Wong nodded sympathetically. "That is unfortunate. Perhaps you should have thought about this before allowing the Galaxy Council to declare war on us." "We did not vote for war," protested the representative from the Peaceful Coalition. "We stayed neutral." "Neutral means you chose not to help us when others attacked," President Wong replied. "Actions have consequences." The neutral species began to realize they had made a mistake. They had assumed humans would lose quickly, and they did not want to anger the winners. Now it looked like humans might actually win, and they had not supported the winning side. Back on Luna Base, Admiral Chen watched reports come in from across the galaxy. Her forces were winning every engagement. Her intelligence networks provided perfect information about alien movements. Her economic weapons were crippling alien infrastructure. "Admiral," reported Commander Park, "we have intercepted communications from the Galaxy Council. They are calling emergency meetings to discuss the war situation." "What are they saying?" Chen asked. "They seem confused and frightened. Several species are asking how humans became so powerful so quickly." Admiral Chen studied the tactical display. Red markers showed disabled alien fleets. Blue markers showed human forces in strong positions. Yellow markers showed neutral species beginning to send peace messages. "It is time for Phase 3, she decided. "Contact Ambassador Park. Tell him to begin diplomatic operations." On the neutral world of Harmony Station, Ambassador Park met with representatives from species that had not joined the war. He no longer looked like a helpless diplomat. Now he appeared confident and powerful, backed by victories across the galaxy. "Honored friends," he said to the gathered aliens, "Earth is prepared to offer friendship to those who want peace. But we will no longer accept being treated as inferior beings." The representative from the Trader Alliance spoke carefully. "What exactly do you want from us?" "Recognition," Park replied simply. "Treat us as equals. Give us fair representation in galactic affairs. Stop trying to control our expansion or limit our trade." "And if we agree to this?" asked the Peaceful Coalition ambassador. Park smiled. "Then we can discuss how to end this war quickly and return to normal trade relationships. Earth has no desire to conquer anyone. We just want respect." The neutral species looked at each other nervously. The humans were clearly winning the war they had been expected to lose quickly. It might be wise to listen to their terms. Chancellor Vexithar, still a prisoner on Captain Rodriguez's ship, watched the reports coming in from across Zephyrian space. His empire was falling apart. His fleets were defeated. His economy was collapsing. "How long have you been planning this?" he asked Rodriguez. 50 years, she replied honestly. "Ever since we learned about the Galaxy Council and realized you would never accept us as equals." Vexithar stared at her in amazement. 50 years? You prepared for a war that might never happen? "We hoped it would never happen," Rodriguez said. "But we believed it probably would. You proved us right." Across the galaxy, alien leaders were beginning to understand that they had made a terrible mistake. The humans they had dismissed as weak newcomers were proving to be the most dangerous opponents they had ever faced. And the war was just getting started. High Counselor Threx called an emergency session of the Galaxy Council. The great hall that had been filled with confident aliens just 1 week ago now held worried and confused delegates. Many seats were empty because their representatives were dealing with crises at home. "How is this possible?" demanded the representative from the Mineral Lords. "Our intelligence said humans had only basic military capabilities." Chancellor Vexthar was still missing, captured somewhere in human space. His second-in-command, General Korth, spoke for the Zephyrian Empire. "The humans have revealed capabilities we never knew they possessed," General Korth admitted. "Their ships are faster and more advanced than our projections suggested. Their weapons are more precise than anything we have seen." "It gets worse," added the Hive Collective representative. "They have been inside our computer networks for years. They know our military plans better than we do." Admiral Sarah Chen stood in her command center, watching the results of the galaxy's first major battle against united human forces. The aliens had tried to coordinate a massive attack on Earth itself, bringing together fleets from 7 different species. "Enemy fleet composition confirmed," reported Commander Park. 4,000 ships approaching from the Centauri vector. They outnumber our defending forces 8-1. Admiral Chen smiled calmly. "Numbers mean nothing if you cannot hit your target." "Begin Operation Thunderbolt." The alien armada approached Earth's solar system, expecting to find desperate human defenders. Instead, they found something that changed everything they thought they knew about warfare. Earth's moon was not just a natural satellite anymore. Over 30 years, humans had slowly converted it into the largest fortress in galactic history. What looked like simple research stations and mining facilities were actually weapon systems more powerful than anything the aliens possessed. Captain Elena Rodriguez commanded the human defense fleet from her flagship, now revealed as the heavy cruiser Soul's Pride. Around her, 200 human warships waited in perfect formation. "All ships, this is Admiral Rodriguez," she announced. "Today we show the galaxy that humans fight for our home with everything we have." The aliens attacked in their traditional formation, expecting human forces to crumble under superior numbers. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that fought unlike anyone they had encountered before. Human ships did not stay in rigid formations like alien fleets. They moved like living things, adapting to each moment of battle. When aliens tried to surround them, humans scattered and regrouped somewhere else. When aliens focused their fire on one area, humans appeared from unexpected directions. The moon itself joined the battle. Weapon systems hidden across its surface opened fire with devastating precision. The aliens discovered that humans had turned their entire homeworld system into a fortress designed to defeat exactly this kind of attack. Dr. Mitchell coordinated the electronic warfare from his hidden facility on Earth. His programs disrupted alien communications, confused their targeting systems, and fed false information to their commanders. "Alien fleet cohesion dropping to 60%, he reported to Admiral Chen. "Their formations are breaking apart." "Excellent," Chen replied. "Begin Phase 2. Target their command ships." The battle turned into a disaster for the alien alliance. Ships that had fought together for centuries found themselves unable to communicate or coordinate. Human forces picked apart their formations with surgical precision. In just 4 hours, the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history was completely destroyed. 3,000 alien ships were disabled or captured. The rest fled in complete disorder. But Admiral Chen did something that shocked every observer in the galaxy. She ordered her forces to rescue alien survivors and provide medical aid to the wounded. "Admiral," asked Commander Park, "should we not pursue the fleeing ships?" "No," Chen replied firmly. "We are not conquerors. We defend ourselves, but we do not slaughter defeated enemies." News of the great battle spread across the galaxy faster than light. On dozens of worlds, alien civilians watched in amazement as humans showed mercy to enemies who had come to destroy Earth. The economic warfare continued to devastate alien societies. The Crystal Empire's entire financial system collapsed when human banks called in all loans at once. The Hive Collective's food distribution network failed without human transport ships. But humans began showing mercy here too. Ambassador Park sent messages to neutral worlds offering emergency food supplies and medical aid. "Earth stands ready to help any species that chooses peace," he announced. "We fight only those who force war upon us." Several smaller species began sending secret messages to human representatives. The Gardener species, who had voted against the war from the beginning, openly declared their support for Earth. "Humans have shown wisdom in victory," announced Elder Bloom of the Gardeners. "They could have destroyed their enemies completely, but they chose restraint. This is the behavior of a mature species." The Trader Alliance faced a terrible choice. Their economy depended on stable trade routes, but the war was destroying commerce across the galaxy. Their leaders met in emergency session to discuss changing sides. "The humans are clearly winning," argued Trademaster Coin. "But more importantly, they are showing that they want to restore normal trade when the war ends. This is what we need." On the Crystal Empire homeworld, riots began as essential services failed. The crystal beings had grown used to human technology maintaining their civilization. Without it, they could barely function. Emperor Crystalex received desperate reports from across his territory. "My lord, 60% of our worlds are experiencing critical infrastructure failures. Our people are suffering." "What do the humans want?" the Emperor asked, tiredly. "Recognition as equals, my lord. A permanent seat on the Galaxy Council. An end to restrictions on their expansion and trade." Emperor Crystalex considered this. "What they ask for is what we should have given them years ago. We forced this war through our own arrogance." Similar conversations were happening on worlds across the galaxy. Alien leaders who had expected easy victory were realizing they had created a disaster for their own people. The Zephyrian Empire was falling apart completely. Without Chancellor Vexithar's leadership, different factions began fighting each other. Some wanted to continue the war, others wanted to negotiate with humans. A few wanted to surrender immediately. Captain Rodriguez kept Chancellor Vexthar comfortable on her ship, but she also made sure he could see the reports from his empire. "Your people are suffering because of choices you made," she told him gently. "Earth is prepared to help end their suffering, but only if you are willing to discuss peace." Vexthar watched another report showing Zephyrian colonies running out of food and medical supplies. What would humans want in exchange for ending our people's pain? "An apology," Rodriguez said simply. "Admission that you made a mistake, agreement to treat humans as equals in the future." "That is all?" Vexithar asked, surprised. "We told you from the beginning. We do not want to rule anyone. We just want to be treated with respect." High Counselor Threx called another emergency meeting, but this time it was very different. Instead of angry aliens demanding war, the hall held desperate representatives begging for ways to end the conflict. "We must find a way to make peace with the humans," urged the peaceful coalition representative. "This war is destroying our entire galactic civilization." "But they have beaten us completely," protested the Mineral Lord's delegate. "What kind of peace terms will they demand?" Ambassador Park entered the Galaxy Council chambers for the first time since the war began. But now he came not as a lone human facing hostile aliens, but as the representative of the galaxy's newest major power. "Honored delegates," he said calmly, "Earth is prepared to discuss ending this conflict. We believe it is time to build a better galaxy for all our species." The aliens looked at him with a mixture of fear, respect, and desperate hope. They had started a war expecting easy victory. Instead, they had learned that humans were far more dangerous and far more merciful than they had ever imagined. Now they were about to discover what humans really wanted from galactic civilization. Ambassador Minjun Park stood at the same podium where High Counselor Threx had declared war just 2 weeks earlier. But everything had changed. The Great Hall was quiet and respectful. No alien delegate dared to show disrespect to Earth's representative. "Honored members of the Galaxy Council," Park began, his voice calm and clear. "We gather today not as enemies, but as beings who share the same galaxy. Earth comes here seeking not conquest, but partnership." High Counselor Threx, his crystal form dimmer than before, spoke carefully. "Ambassador Park, your species has proven its military might. What terms do you demand for peace?" Park smiled gently. "We demand nothing, High Counselor. We offer everything." Confused murmurs rippled through the hall. The aliens had expected harsh punishment for starting an unprovoked war. Instead, the humans seemed to be offering friendship. "Let me be clear about what happened here," Park continued. "You declared war on Earth because you feared we were growing too powerful. You were right to fear us, but for the wrong reasons." He activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. "You thought we were dangerous because we expanded quickly and adapted fast. You were afraid we would conquer you. But we never wanted conquest. We wanted something much more dangerous to your old ways of thinking." The display changed to show trade routes, communication networks, and cultural exchanges. "We wanted to be your equals. We wanted to be partners in building a better galaxy. That terrified you because it meant giving up your control over smaller species." Chancellor Vexithar had been returned to represent his empire, though he now wore simple clothes instead of his royal robes. He stood up slowly. "Ambassador, my empire lies in ruins. My people suffer. Many of us believe we deserve punishment for our actions." Park looked at him with genuine sympathy. "Chancellor, your people suffer because your leaders made bad choices. But ordinary Zephyrians did not declare this war. They do not deserve to pay for their leaders' mistakes." He turned back to address the full council. "Earth's terms for peace are simple. First, all species will be represented equally in this council. No more special privileges for older or larger empires." Some delegates shifted uncomfortably, but none dared to object. "Second, free trade and movement throughout the galaxy for all species. No more restrictions on expansion or technology sharing. Third, mutual defense agreements. If any species attacks another unprovoked, all others will come to the victim's defense. And finally," Park paused for effect, "immediate humanitarian aid to all worlds suffering from this war's effects, regardless of which side they supported." The hall erupted in surprised discussion. These terms were far more generous than anyone had expected. Elder Bloom of the gardener species stood up. "Ambassador Park, these terms seem almost too generous. What does Earth gain from this arrangement?" Park's smile widened. "Elder Bloom, Earth gains exactly what we have always wanted: respect, equality, and the chance to build something better together." Dr. Mitchell's voice came through Park's earpiece. "Ambassador, we're detecting positive responses from 68% of council networks. Economic relief programs are already being requested by 12 species." Park nodded slightly. I am authorized to begin emergency aid immediately. Human ships carrying food, medicine, and repair equipment are already en route to worlds that need them. Emperor Crystalex of the Crystal Empire stood up, his crystalline form shaking slightly. Ambassador, my people's infrastructure has collapsed completely. We cannot even feed our children without human technology. Your Majesty, Park replied warmly, human engineers are prepared to help rebuild your systems. We ask only that you remember this moment when you are strong again. Admiral Chen's voice reached Park through secure communication. Ambassador, all alien fleets have surrendered or withdrawn. Our forces are beginning relief operations across 7 star systems. Captain Rodriguez was already coordinating the largest humanitarian effort in galactic history. Human ships that had been weapons of war were now carrying supplies to former enemies. This is incredible, Chancellor Vexthar said quietly to his aide. We tried to destroy them, and they are saving our people. The representative from the Hive Collective Queen spoke for the first time since the war began. Ambassador Park, our collective cannot understand human behavior. You have won completely, yet you choose mercy. This does not compute with our models of intelligent behavior. Park considered his answer carefully. Your Majesty's collective thinks in terms of dominance and submission. Humans think in terms of cooperation and growth. We believe the galaxy is better when everyone prospers. High Counselor Threx spoke into the respectful silence. Ambassador Park, the Galaxy Council formally accepts Earth's terms for peace. We also formally apologize for our aggression and request to learn from human wisdom. There will be much to learn together, Park agreed. But first, let us focus on healing the damage this war has caused. Over the following months, the galaxy began to change in ways no one had expected. Human relief efforts reached every world affected by the war. Human engineers helped rebuild alien infrastructure, but they also taught alien workers how to maintain the systems themselves. Human diplomats worked with every species to establish the new equal representation system. Instead of old empires dominating smaller species, every world got fair treatment based on population and resources. Most surprisingly, human cultural exchanges began spreading throughout the galaxy. Alien youth started learning human languages and customs. Human art and music found audiences on worlds that had never seen anything like them. Captain Rodriguez found herself commanding not a warship, but a massive hospital ship bringing medical aid to former enemies. Many of her patients were Zephyrian soldiers she had defeated in battle. Captain, asked one young Zephyrian warrior, why do you help those you fought against? Rodriguez checked his medical readings carefully before answering. Because the war is over. You are no longer my enemy. You are just someone who needs help. Dr. Mitchell's programs evolved from weapons of war into tools of cooperation. Instead of disrupting alien networks, they now helped different species communicate and share information safely. Chancellor Vexthar visited Earth 6 months after the war ended. He stood in Ambassador Park's office, looking out at the blue world below. I still do not fully understand your species, he admitted. You could have ruled us all as conquerors. Instead, you chose to lift us up as friends. Park joined him at the window. Chancellor, humans learned long ago that ruling through fear creates only temporary peace. Building through cooperation creates lasting prosperity. And if some species choose aggression again in the future, Park's expression grew serious, then they will face the combined might of all peaceful species working together. That is much stronger than Earth standing alone. The Galaxy Council's final session on the peace treaties was very different from the war declaration 2 years earlier. Representatives from 200 species signed agreements for cooperation, trade, and mutual defense. High Counselor Threx formally transferred the council leadership to a rotating system where every species would have a chance to guide galactic affairs. The old galaxy is dead, Threx announced. "The new galaxy begins today, built on the principles humans have taught us. Equality, cooperation, and compassion are not weaknesses. They are the foundations of true strength." Ambassador Park stood for the final time at the Galaxy Council podium. 2 years ago, you declared war because you feared human expansion. Today, human values are expanding across the galaxy not through conquest, but through choice. He looked across the hall filled with representatives who had become partners instead of enemies. "You were right to say it was finally time. Time to build the galaxy we all deserve. Time to work together instead of fighting each other. Time to reach for the stars not as separate species, but as one galactic family." The applause that followed was not the angry shouting of war, but the hopeful sound of beings ready to build something better together. Outside the station, human ships worked alongside alien vessels to establish the first joint exploration fleets. They were heading toward distant galaxies, carrying not weapons of war, but tools of peace and discovery. The galaxy had learned that humans were indeed dangerous, but only to those who chose hatred over hope. For everyone else, humanity offered something far more powerful than any weapon, the chance to be better than they had ever imagined possible. And that, Ambassador Park reflected as he watched the mixed crews preparing for their journey to the stars, was exactly what humans had always wanted to share with the universe.